A woman thinks about you nonstop when your absence speaks louder than your presence. It's not chasing, but calm confidence. It's mystery, not overexposure. It's purpose over attention. Be grounded, detached, yet caring. Leave emotional impact, not noise. She remembers how you made her feel, not what you said. What truly makes a woman think about a man long after he's gone has very little to do with his appearance or the things he said in passing. It's about the emotional imprint he leaves behind, the feeling she associates with his presence, the energy that lingers in her mind even when he's nowhere around. Most men believe attraction is built through effort, the compliments, the attention, the pursuit. But what she remembers is not the chase. It's the atmosphere he creates when she's with him. That's what stays. That's what replays in her thoughts at night. A woman connects through emotions, not logic. You could be charming, funny, or handsome, but if you don't touch her emotionally, you'll fade from her memory like everyone else. When she feels safe in your presence, when she feels seen without judgment, when your silence carries more depth than other men's words, that's when you leave an imprint. The emotional body remembers energy far more than the mind remembers details. You don't have to perform or pretend. In fact, the more natural and grounded you are, the stronger the connection becomes. Leaving an emotional imprint is about awareness. It's in how you listen, not to reply, but to understand. It's in the way you hold your gaze, steady and calm, creating a sense of presence that tells her she's not being evaluated, only witnessed. It's in the small pauses between your words, where your energy speaks louder than your voice. It's in restraint, the patience to not rush moments, to not fill silence with noise, to not seek constant validation through her reactions. When you carry peace within yourself, she feels it. When you walk into a room without demanding attention, but your energy shifts the air around you, that's power. Women are drawn to the way you make them feel, not the way you try to impress them. The moment she associates you with calm, safety, and emotional depth, you become unforgettable. Because in a world full of shallow distractions, you represent something she can't find easily: emotional gravity. That gravity doesn't come from trying to be mysterious or strategic. It comes from authenticity, the comfort in your own presence. You don't chase approval. You don't perform to be liked. You are simply there fully, and that fullness leaves an echo in her emotions. When she goes home, she doesn't miss the conversation. She misses the way her soul felt seen. She replays your energy more than your words. That's what creates attachment, the invisible emotional connection built through presence, not effort. So the secret is simple. Stop trying to impress her mind and start touching her heart. Let your energy speak for you. Be still, yet strong. Be open, yet composed. Because the men who truly stay in a woman's mind are not the loudest, not the boldest. They're the ones who left her feeling something real. Restraint is one of the most powerful yet underrated qualities a man can possess. It's the quiet confidence to not react impulsively, to not chase validation, to not rush what is meant to unfold naturally. When a man knows how to hold back his words, his emotions, and his need for constant reassurance, he becomes magnetic. Because restraint creates mystery, and mystery creates space for desire to grow. What most men don't realize is that attraction doesn't flourish in chaos or overexposure. It thrives in subtlety, in patience, and in the art of not giving everything away too soon. A woman becomes intrigued when she can't fully read a man. When he doesn't explain himself endlessly or try to prove his worth, her curiosity awakens. Restraint is not about playing games or withholding affection. It's about emotional discipline, understanding that you don't have to say everything you feel or respond to every impulse. The man who can sit comfortably in silence, who doesn't rush to fill the void with attention, radiates control and depth. He shows that his world doesn't revolve around external approval and that stability is deeply attractive. When you practice restraint, you give her space to feel, you let her wonder, you let her reach out. Constant communication and availability kill anticipation, but restraint allows her imagination to work in your favor. She starts to think about what you're doing, what you're feeling, and why you're so composed. That curiosity turns into attraction because it's human nature to want what's not immediately available. You become the calm in her storm, the one who doesn't need to chase because your energy speaks louder than your actions. Restraint also protects your energy. It stops you from reacting emotionally to small things, from over-explaining, from trying to control outcomes. When a man acts from emotion, he loses presence. But when he moves with intention, he stays powerful. You show strength when you can walk away from unnecessary conversations, when you can take time before responding, and when you can choose silence over arguing. Restraint doesn't mean coldness, it means emotional maturity. It's knowing when to express and when to let things breathe. Every woman senses the difference between a man who is in control of himself and one who is controlled by his emotions. The first creates desire, the second creates exhaustion. When you can observe your emotions without acting on them, you create an energy of quiet authority. That energy lingers, it draws her in, because she feels something rare, safety mixed with intrigue. She doesn't fully understand you, and that's exactly why she can't stop thinking about you. Restraint turns ordinary interactions into moments of power. It's in the slow response, the measured tone, the calm eye contact that doesn't demand but invites. It's in your ability to hold back, to let things come to you rather than forcing them. Because the man who can control himself commands everything else without needing to try. Emotional consistency is one of the most attractive and grounding qualities a man can have. It's not about being emotionless or detached. It's about stability, the kind of calm that makes a woman feel safe in your presence. When your energy doesn't shift with every mood, reaction, or challenge, she begins to trust you on a deeper level. A woman may be drawn to passion, mystery, and excitement, but what truly makes her stay, what makes her think about you nonstop, is the sense of peace she feels when she's around you. That peace comes from your consistency, the quiet reliability of your emotional state. In a world full of uncertainty, a man who can hold his ground becomes magnetic. Emotional consistency doesn't mean you never feel anger or disappointment. It means you don't let those emotions control your behavior. When a woman sees that you remain calm under pressure, that you don't withdraw affection when upset, and that your mood doesn't depend on hers, she feels emotionally secure. That security allows her to relax her defenses, to be more feminine, open, and connected. You become her emotional anchor, not because you try to fix her, but because your steadiness allows her to breathe. Many men confuse intensity with connection. They think grand gestures or passionate words create love, but it's the day-to-day stability that truly builds trust. If your energy changes every time she tests you, questions you, or pulls away, she'll sense instability. Women naturally test for emotional strength, not to manipulate, but to feel safe. She needs to know that your emotions are yours to manage, not hers to soothe. When you remain centered, you communicate silently. I'm grounded in myself. You can feel safe here. That unspoken assurance creates the emotional bond that lingers long after you're gone. Consistency is power. It's in your tone, in your reactions, in your ability to stay composed even when things don't go your way. You don't give her mixed signals. You don't show warmth one moment and distance the next. You remain the same man, calm, reliable, and emotionally mature. When she knows what to expect from your energy, she doesn't have to guess where she stands. That clarity builds desire, not boredom, because it gives her emotional safety in a world full of chaos. A woman may not consciously articulate it, but she feels it deeply. When she thinks about you, it's not just the attraction she remembers. It's how you made her feel stable in her emotions. That's the energy she returns to in her thoughts. Emotional consistency isn't just a trait, it's a language of trust, a vibration that says, I'm not moved by external storms. When you embody that energy, she doesn't just think of you. She craves your presence because your calm becomes her calm. Authentic confidence isn't loud. It doesn't need to announce itself, prove anything, or compete for validation. It's quiet, grounded, and deeply rooted in self-awareness. It's the kind of confidence that doesn't need attention to feel seen. A woman can sense it instantly, not from what you say, but from the energy you carry. When you walk into a room, you don't demand presence, you become presence. Authentic confidence isn't about charm, status, or perfection. It's about the ease of being yourself without trying to convince anyone of your worth. Performed confidence, on the other hand, is fragile. It hides insecurity under layers of ego, arrogance, and forced control. It's the man who talks too much about his achievements, who needs constant approval, or who masks his uncertainty behind humor or dominance. It may impress for a moment, but it doesn't last. Because deep down, every woman can feel when something is being performed. She doesn't fall for what you try to show her. She connects to what feels real. Authentic confidence is magnetic because it's unpretentious. It's the comfort of a man who has nothing to prove, yet everything to offer. When you are authentically confident, your energy communicates that you are whole, with or without her attention. You're not chasing validation, you're expressing value. You don't fear silence or rejection because your worth isn't dependent on anyone's response. That's what draws her in. The emotional safety of a man who isn't moved by external opinions. You can look at her, admire her, and still not lose yourself in her. You're grounded in your own identity, in your purpose, in your boundaries. This type of confidence invites respect before attraction, and from that respect, desire naturally grows. Authentic confidence also means vulnerability, not weakness, but honesty. It's being real about your emotions without being ruled by them. It's owning your flaws without trying to hide them. You don't pretend to be perfect. You simply stand tall in your truth. That rawness makes you trustworthy because what's real is rare, and rarity is what captures attention. A woman can relax around a man who is real. She doesn't feel the pressure to perform or compete. She feels seen, understood, and safe. That's what makes her think of you. Not because you tried to impress her, but because she felt something genuine in your energy. You don't create authentic confidence by faking it. You cultivate it by accepting yourself. When you stop performing and start being, everything shifts. You move differently, speak differently, and connect differently. You stop trying to control outcomes and start trusting your presence. That's when attraction becomes effortless. Because the man who is at peace with himself becomes unforgettable, not for what he says or does, but for the calm certainty that he carries within. That's the kind of confidence that lingers long after you're gone. Mystery is not about playing games or hiding who you are. It's about allowing space for curiosity to live. When everything about you is immediately revealed, there's nothing left to explore. But when you move with depth, when your words, actions, and silences all hold meaning, you naturally draw people in. A woman becomes intrigued not because you're withholding, but because she can sense there's more to you than what meets the eye. You carry an energy that invites discovery, and that discovery happens slowly, layer by layer. Mystery is powerful because it creates emotional tension. It makes her wonder, it makes her think, and it keeps her energy connected to yours even in your absence. The moment she feels she fully understands you, her curiosity fades. But when your presence hints at untold stories, unspoken thoughts, and unseen strength, her mind keeps reaching for more. You become someone she can't quite define, and that undefined quality is what keeps her thinking about you. It's not about manipulation, it's about maintaining depth. You show enough to connect, but not enough to be predictable. When you move with mystery, you don't over-explain your thoughts or justify your actions. You don't rush to fill silence or seek constant validation. You allow your energy to do the speaking. Mystery lives in pauses, in the calm confidence of a man who doesn't need to make himself understood by everyone. He's not trying to be mysterious. He simply is. His world doesn't revolve around being seen. And paradoxically, that's what makes everyone want to see more of him. Mystery also requires emotional restraint. It's knowing when to speak and when to remain silent, when to engage and when to pull back. It's the awareness that you don't owe full access to your inner world to anyone who hasn't earned it. When a woman senses that your attention, your time, and your emotions have value, she begins to value them too. She starts to lean in, to invest, to imagine. That imagination becomes desire because attraction isn't just built through presence, it's built through anticipation. The key is authenticity. Mystery that's forced feels cold and distant. Real mystery feels warm but unavailable all at once, like there's light inside you that she wants to understand. It's your calm energy, your purpose-driven focus, your ability to stay grounded even when others seek reactions. When you're not easily influenced, not easily read, and not desperate to be understood, you radiate depth. That depth creates a pull stronger than any words could. You become a man who doesn't need to chase because curiosity does the chasing for you. She'll think about what you're doing, what you're feeling, what you're not saying. That's the beauty of mystery. It lives in the mind long after the moment has passed. It's not what you reveal, but what you leave unsaid that keeps her intrigued. When a man lives with purpose, his energy shifts. He no longer seeks attention because his focus is directed inward and forward, towards something greater than himself. His drive, his vision, and his commitment to his own growth become his source of fulfillment. And that fulfillment radiates confidence. A woman feels it the moment she's around him. He's not trying to impress, not trying to be chosen. His attention isn't desperate, it's deliberate. He chooses his words, his actions, and his company carefully. That self-possession is magnetic because it's rare. Most people chase validation. Few chase purpose. Purpose gives a man direction, and direction gives him depth. When your life revolves around meaning rather than approval, you automatically become more attractive. You stop chasing moments, and you start building something lasting. A woman can sense when a man is anchored in something beyond her, not because he ignores her, but because he's not emotionally dependent on her reactions. She can feel that his time and energy have value, and that makes her want to earn his attention instead of take it for granted. Attention given from a place of purpose carries weight. Attention given from emptiness fades quickly. The man who leads with purpose is calm under pressure. He doesn't overreact to disinterest or rejection because his sense of worth is not on the line. His goals, dreams, and values keep him steady. When a woman sees that his life has structure and meaning, she's drawn to that stability. She feels that being around him could add value to her own life. Purpose becomes the unspoken force that builds attraction, not through games, but through grounded confidence. Living with purpose doesn't mean ignoring emotion or connection. It means you lead from alignment rather than need. You're not looking for someone to complete you. You're inviting someone to complement you. That subtle difference changes everything. It allows you to love without losing yourself, to give without expecting in return, and to connect without attachment. When a man prioritizes his mission, his energy naturally holds boundaries. He doesn't overextend to please others. He doesn't sacrifice his peace to gain affection. He gives from overflow, not emptiness. A purposeful man is consistent because his motivation doesn't depend on external validation. He wakes up with intention, he moves with clarity, and he keeps his emotions in check because his focus is bigger than the moment. A woman feels that. She's drawn not to his words, but to the quiet strength behind them. She sees that his life has meaning beyond her, and paradoxically, that's what makes her want to be part of it. Purpose gives your energy a direction. And when your energy has direction, it becomes irresistible. Because attention fades, but purpose endures. And when you live with purpose first, attention follows naturally, effortlessly, and always from the right people. Presence speaks a language far deeper than words ever could. It's in the way you listen without interrupting, the way your eyes stay calm and focused, the way your energy fills a space without demanding it. When a man is truly present, he gives his full attention, not just hearing, but feeling what's in front of him. That level of awareness is rare. Most people listen to reply, few listen to understand. But presence isn't about saying the right thing. It's about being fully there without distraction, ego, or agenda. That's what creates connection. That's what makes a woman think about you long after you've gone. When your presence is strong, your silence carries meaning. You don't need to chase conversation or fill every pause. You can simply exist in a moment, and your energy does the talking. A woman feels safe around a man who isn't constantly performing or seeking approval. She senses stability in your calmness, confidence in your stillness. That kind of presence is powerful because it's grounded in awareness, awareness of yourself, your emotions, and the energy of the moment. You don't need to prove anything, you just are. Words are easy, anyone can talk, but presence requires self-mastery. It requires you to control your impulses, to quiet your mind, to listen without planning your next move. It's the art of holding space for yourself and for the other person. When a woman feels that you are fully there with her, she feels seen, not just physically, but emotionally. That experience touches her deeper than any compliment or line ever could, because what she remembers most is not what you said, but how you made her feel. Presence also means being emotionally grounded. When you're calm and composed, your energy gives her a sense of peace. You're not rushing to impress, not reacting to her moods, not trying to fix or control. You simply observe, engage, and respond from a place of balance. That balance is rare and it's unforgettable. It shows her that you're not living from insecurity or need. You're comfortable in silence, comfortable in uncertainty, and comfortable with yourself. That kind of emotional maturity is magnetic. When you are truly present, time slows down. You become aware of small details, her tone, her expression, her energy. You're not in your head, you're in the moment. That presence makes every interaction feel intentional and real. It turns simple conversations into experiences. And after you leave, she doesn't replay your words. She replays the feeling. She remembers your stillness, your calm voice, the depth in your eyes. She remembers that around you she felt seen and understood without you needing to say much. Presence is your power. It's the mark of a man who doesn't seek attention but commands it effortlessly. When your energy is aligned, your silence is louder than speech, your calm is stronger than charm, and your attention is worth more than any words could ever express. Detachment is often misunderstood, Many think it means not caring, being cold, or emotionally distant. But true detachment has nothing to do with indifference. It's about freedom. It's the ability to love deeply without losing yourself, to stay connected without becoming dependent. A man who practices detachment is not heartless. He's centered. He can give affection, attention, and presence without needing constant reassurance or control. That balance is what makes him powerful. Because when you are emotionally secure within yourself, you create space for genuine connection instead of attachment born from fear. A woman feels drawn to a man who is emotionally independent. When she senses that you care, but you don't cling, she relaxes. Your energy tells her that you're not trying to own her or change her. You simply appreciate her. Detachment allows love to breathe. It keeps the energy between two people alive, not suffocated by insecurity or obsession. When you're detached, you don't chase validation. You don't beg for attention. You let things unfold naturally. That calm, confident energy makes you unforgettable because it's rare. Most people seek connection through control. You seek it through presence. Detachment means your emotions belong to you. You don't hand them over for others to manage. You can feel deeply, but you don't let those feelings dictate your peace. You can miss someone and still move forward. You can love someone and still let them be free. That kind of maturity communicates strength, not just to others, but to yourself. It shows that you're not reacting out of fear or scarcity. You're grounded enough to allow space, to let people show up without pressure. And paradoxically, that space draws them closer. When a man practices detachment, he becomes more attractive because his energy feels light, yet powerful. There's no neediness, no hidden agenda, no emotional chaos. A woman senses that he values connection, but not at the cost of his peace. She starts thinking about him because he doesn't demand her attention. He invites it. He's fully engaged when he's there, but he's equally fine when he's not. That balance is what keeps her intrigued. She feels cared for, not controlled. She feels desired, not possessed. Detachment also gives clarity. You stop projecting your expectations onto others and start observing reality as it is. You don't take rejection personally, and you don't build fantasies out of uncertainty. You stay aligned with your truth, knowing that what's meant for you will remain without force. That mindset creates unshakable peace, and that peace becomes magnetic. You become a source of calm in a world addicted to emotional chaos. The beauty of detachment is that it deepens connection instead of weakening it. When you're free from needing someone, you can love them purely. When you stop clinging, you make space for them to choose you willingly. And when you embody that kind of strength, you don't need to chase anyone's attention because your peace, your energy, and your freedom already hold it. When you understand the psychology of true attraction, you realize it's never about chasing, performing, or proving. It's about energy. The energy of calm confidence, emotional awareness, and quiet strength. What makes a woman think about you nonstop isn't what you do in front of her, but what she feels when you're not there. Your emotional imprint, your restraint, your consistency, your authenticity. These are the traits that separate momentary interest from lasting impact. When you live with purpose, move with presence, and carry yourself with mystery and self-control, you become unforgettable. You stop seeking attention and start commanding it effortlessly. You no longer rely on words, gestures, or strategies to create attraction. Your energy does the work. A woman's mind doesn't replay perfection, it replays emotion. She remembers how you made her feel safe, intrigued, and seen without losing yourself in the process. True magnetism is built through balance, caring deeply but never clinging, giving without overextending, loving without losing your ground. That balance is what keeps you powerful and peaceful at the same time, because the man who doesn't need to be remembered is the one who always is.